burst damage in the game. He also was able to perform it at close to mid-range, which made a lot of characters invalid in that role, and also eliminated a lot of opposition to try to get close to him, even tanks, which wasn't the way Blizzard really intended for him to be used. So what they did to rectify that is they took his Fan the Hammer damage, and which was his ability to fire his entire clip of 6. He did 70 damage per shot. The entire clip made it 420 damage. And he had a stun grenade which would stun you, so he could get pretty much a guaranteed kill on almost anything that wasn't a tank. So to rectify that, they took the damage on the Fan the Hammer from 70 damage to 45 damage. So instead of doing 420 for an entire Fan the Hammer, you now do 270, which is still enough to kill the characters he was designed to kill, the flanker, assassin type characters like Tracer and Genji. And it also allowed him to do significant damage to other non-tank, even to tanks, but it's also a character at 200 health, so as long as he got in most of the bullets, he was still able to kill them. And at the same time, they also shortened the delay between his reload after that Fan the Hammer. So instead of going 3/4 of a second, it went down to 0.3 seconds, which is a pretty significant decrease. I guess it make him feel more fluid, so it's kind of a bit of a compensation for the nerf. Now this one, it didn't change the way he was played overall. He still felt the same and controlled the same. It just changed his role a bit, so he wasn't so versatile with damage output. It made it so he was strong against characters like Tracer and Genji, as he was designed to attack him, so he could melt away Reinhardt and the other tanks as well. So those are the main things about Mercury. Now, we'll have to see how that affects the competitive play so far. Some people are complaining that there's been a lot of Genjis and Tracers running rampant, and that tanks and healers have become a lot stronger. We'll have to see how that develops as time goes on. Now let's discuss the Widowmaker nerfs. After a lot of complaining in the forums about her being overpowered, I mean, a lot of complaining, and also from the early parts of competitive play, Blizzard observed from their point of view that Widowmaker was a strong presence in the competitive scene, where it basically came down to Widowmaker versus Widowmaker. So they also wanted to curb that down while, according to them, reducing the frustration factor. So what did they change with Widowmaker? Well, they reduced the multiplier on her sniper rifle from 15 to 12 because their charge had a multiplier of 15, which did a max of 150 damage. So you had a level 1, level 2, and level 3, and the max is 150. This basically took the max damage down to 120, which means now you can no longer one-shot Zenyatta, Tracer, and Zero Suit Diva. They took that aspect out of it because they felt, I guess, that was overpowered from their point of view, and from a lot of people's point of view. Also, the multiplier was increased on the shot from double to 2.5 times to compensate the 12-time multiplier on the snipe shot, so your critical hits are identical. You'll still kill a 300 health enemy with a fully scoped shot, and you can still kill a 200 health enemy with a level 2 scoped shot. So that didn't change at all. You still get rewarded for the headshots, so the goal is emphasize more of the headshots and less of the body shots. Another change they did was they changed the ult time charge. They made that so it was 10% slower on charge, so you didn't get it quite as often. So that was another change they implemented with Widowmaker as well. And the final change they made to her was probably the most controversial change, was the quick scoping change. And a lot of people who have FPS experience are familiar with quick scoping. It basically allows you to zoom in and zoom out quickly, and is used often because it keeps you more maneuverable, lets you stay more aware of your defensive surroundings, and lets you have quicker offense at a higher skill level once you learned it, because you can effectively move quickly from target to target and pick them off without that lag of being in zoom, without being so vulnerable and easy to flank. They changed this animation of the original quick scoping, where you could just go in and out of your zoom, to a much slower version where you could clearly see, you could have to see the zoom come back in, so it's a large delay. It seems like it's about half a second to a second. So they wanted to just remove that entirely. And the reason they said they wanted to do this is because they didn't want her canceling in and out. But I'm going to go into that into detail in a bit. Now I want to discuss balance. Overall, so balance is something, of course, any competitive game that you want to achieve as much as possible to have a game that's viable and takes seriously. The idea behind a well-balanced game is you want every character to have their own specific role and the ability to choose any character you want and do well with it. And for most games, like a fighting game, when you're talking about balance, you want to be able to pick any character you want and have a pretty much even discipline. No matter who you play, you're going to always have your good matchups and your bad matchups. And you have some characters that are better and worse. which is all normal and it's going to happen. You just want to have the gap to be as small as possible, because you don't have one character that's pretty much unbeatable and another character that's pretty much worthless. You want every character to be good. Not too good, not too bad, but good. Now, in a team-based game like Overwatch, what you're aiming for, since this game is based around team play and an encounter pick type system with the hero, what you want to do is have each character have their own viable role, while at the same time making it so they still have counters. But a person who's skilled enough can still fight those counters to an extent without it being just an instant win. And Blizzard's approach to it in regards to, say, McCree, they wanted him to be countered by certain characters and not just shred everything up close. They felt that was too strong. Which, all said and done, it makes sense where they were coming from. The approach didn't change the feel of the character. Now, that I didn't think was too bad. I think it probably, in general, a lot of companies like to wait a while. A lot of fighting games in particular, per se, they like to wait at least usually once a year, maybe a couple times a year, to address balance changes, because there's usually a time when the character's still settling in, so the character has a low skill score, appear to be a lot more powerful in the short term. But in the long term, they'll not be that bad once you figure out how to get around it. This is very common, and what companies generally try to do is not to let them complain and stuff like that early on, because you end up killing a lot of the strategy in the game, you end up killing a lot of the competitive viability, you start nerfing everything and dumbing it down. Now, that being said, that's where I come into a conflict. This is what really not part of the way they handle the Widowmaker, because I can understand the reason they made a change to the body shot damage to slow down the old charge. That didn't bother me too much. I think it still would have been better to buff Zenyatta's health. I do think Tracer moves fast enough that you should have killed her with one shot, and how quick she is, because now she can just recalling at her health back. And Zero Suit Diva has the entire mech worth of health before she gets out. So her dying in one shot, almost a charge shot, isn't really a big deal to either. But I think Zenyatta could probably use a bit of a help. Now, my main issue with the Widowmaker nerf changes was they not only changed the damage and the ult utility, which that could have been dealt with, but a lot of what they did is they lowered the skill cap. They capped off the level of effectiveness you could have when you're picking this character. Blizzard basically said, if you're a skilled player, there's only so far we want you to go. And with the quick scoping nerf, not only did it cap off the skill you can have with the character and the effectiveness you can have with the character if you're really good at shooting and aiming and adjusting on the fly, it also made it so the game experience is now more clunky, more slow. It's just a jarring experience, because every character in the game can pretty much move and fight at a fast pace. And Widowmaker basically feels like she's forced to play one linear role, like she's forced to do one thing and one thing only. And one of the more enjoyable things about competitive gameplay is the ability of players to take a character above and beyond the developer's intentions. And what you'll often notice when people say something like, well, developers intended. Well, in a lot of games you'll find, like for example, like fighting, there's a lot of games that discovered, like World Canceling, you had multiple systems, and a lot of things really just play. And in some cases, you do want to, if it's an extreme case where it becomes something that's just way too easy, you do want to look at that. But I think in general, just nerfing things because the developer didn't intend to do it. I really and it kind of hurts the game, because you really put a lot of the ability for the game to be played more non-linear. Speaking of intent, Jeff Goodman, the principal designer, said they were aware of the Widow's skill but they think it was a big negative the player would lose out of starting line by using that ability, but they felt over time that she wasn't really losing enough to justify the quick skill things. They tried to change it in a way where you wouldn't have the clunkiness, but you would still have the ability to quick scope without having a quick charge. But they said they felt the clunkiness was the best thing. In addition to that, they also said they didn't like the idea of ability requiring skill to pull off because they up to that level of skill, because they figured it would make it unfair to the individuals who didn't have the skill to do it. So they didn't want person A to feel like they were handicapped using Widowmaker because person B had more execution and dexterity and marksmanship, and they felt that there shouldn't be any skew there in terms of a risk-reward. Which is something I find interesting, and it's something to me that says a lot about the design principle of the game that doesn't sit as well with me, coming from a background of playing a lot of games at a high level or a competitive level to an extent. The idea that this person is able to do this and that person is not able to do that, and that's not fair, that one person put into practice to get better at something and they're rewarded for their aim, because all quick scoping really is you're moving the gun, getting out of your face really quickly. There's nothing unrealistic or weird about it. It just helps you aim a lot more towards not aiming. Like, they want to punish you for aiming. The current gameplay right now, I understand they want the game to be easy to get into and easy to play and easy to pick up and understand, meant to attract people who aren't into FPS games traditionally, and meant to make it easy and accessible for them. And I think that's fine. I have no problem with games that people can play. But I think it's always good to have a game that's approachable for everybody, but also something that rewards a person for pushing their skills up. They should be rewarded for getting good and putting their time into it, because it gives you an incentive to go back. And that's one thing they want to remove. And right now you have unlimited shooting, short reload times, no bullets to pick up, large weapon hitboxes, high damage on everything. Characters generally don't have the aim unless you're scoping with Widow. Even the characters with projectiles like Hanzo, you have big, giant hitboxes that you don't have to really be accurate with. And that kind of play, to me, I mean, I was fine with it. I find it a bit annoying to play against sometimes. I was fine with it as long as I was able to get that reward, perhaps an execution for them to effectively put a cap on my ability, just because I or another player or professional players had the skill to take her to the next level by practice. It just seems unfair, because a sniper character is always going to be a character with the highest skill ceiling, because the sniper rewards accuracy. The more accurate you are, the more damage you get from headshots and putting you in the and quick scoping tons of shooting games make you find the same way. So not only do people have to play at a much slower pace, but people who spend all that time training their reflexes and muscle memory for years and years, or just in this game, they pretty much have to start entirely over. And the fact that I would have to start over entirely also off-putting to me. I don't want to have to start all the way over. I'm trying to learn the character from scratch in this way and play it in a more stationary, defensive kind of way all the time. Now, a lot of the common arguments are certain arguments like Widowmaker's used all the time. We always see a lot of Widowmakers, so therefore this character is but that's not really a strong argument, because I mean, you see a lot of Lucio, a lot of Mercy, a lot of Reinhardt. You see a lot of characters like that. So that means those characters are overpowered. Maybe the game is still early, especially Reinhardt. I've never seen a game without Reinhardt. Does that mean Reinhardt is broken? He's not broken, but he's definitely a very, very strong character. That's probably the best basic ability. You can't be pressing one button and absorbing a lot of damage. He's just a monumental, essential character for pretty much any team on any position. How many times do you see Junkrat's? Junkrat's good on any team in any position. Widowmaker at least has maps where she's not as viable. King of the Hill maps. A lot of situations, especially after the nerf, up close or mid-range, she just doesn't have that same type of payoff for her work. So that argument in and of itself isn't strong, because some characters are more specialized, and since you have only two snipers, so you're going to generally see a lot of matches one sniper or another, so that doesn't mean it's overpowered. And that's just one of my biggest losses when I had a team on my side. Fireball character is broken. Well, no, you can't just carry an entire team with Widowmaker. And I've seen a lot of competitive matches. Yeah, some good Widowmaker play here and there, but it wasn't just where Widowmaker just dominated the whole thing, killing everybody. The other team could do nothing about it. Everybody had to roll a lot of chaos. You had Widowmakers there sniping. If you let one, sometimes you had the moment where Widowmaker go crazy. Game fun and killing streak. caught him off guard, and you got him in a headlock, but had a wider spread, and you can get around it easily. Basically, if you're near Widowmaker, if you have a full amount of health and you catch her off guard, you should pretty much always beat her with almost any character in the game. If I'm caught off guard with Widowmaker, I'm pretty much dead. Now, the other argument is people are saying that she has Genji-like mobility, which simply isn't true. Genji has the best combination of vertical and horizontal mobility in the game. Genji can double jump, he can climb up walls, and horizontal slash and resets himself. Widowmaker's grappling let her get advantage points, but she had a 12-second cooldown, which is quite a long time. So a popular counter such as Winston, people are saying, well, Winston can't counter. Well, sure he can. I play a lot of characters, as you see in these videos, which I've uploaded a lot of different characters' playstyles. For one reason, people can say, well, if you just use Widowmaker, you're biased. I use half and half. And Widowmaker never gave me trouble because I never stayed out in the line of sight. I realized the sniper is powerful in the line of sight out in the open. So I would flank them, but use blitzing. And you can jump every 6 seconds. You're in the air for 3 seconds, and the cooldown was pretty much almost instant. So you can keep Widowmaker on her toes. A lot of times you can't even grapple anywhere because you're out in the open. So these are things people should also consider. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing or have a different point of view, but as long as it's voiced intelligent, a lot of people are just exaggerating because they're frustrated with the character. And honestly, that's another thing you have to weigh in when you're doing big game balancing, is that people are biased and don't like certain types of characters. For instance, as you'll see with Overwatch, a lot of people complain about defensive type characters, Bastion, Torb, and now Widowmaker. Because most people are going to be like, this is a game that's aimed at more of a casual base, and people like that don't like to play defense. They don't like to practice good movement. They don't like to understand the map and all that. They want to go in there like it's Call of Duty. They want to pick their offensive character. They want to get to shoot it. They want to go crazy. They want to rack the kill. And those characters can punish that type of play style because they can make you play more carefully. Use a shield, use an ultimate move, use a surprise attack. And a lot of players just do it. It's a similar parallel to say fighting game. One of the most hated classes or type of character is zoning character, fireball. And everybody knows, what do people usually say when you use fireballs against an inexperienced player or a newer player or a player who's just not that good? They say fireballs are cheap. Stop using fireballs. Why? Because they don't want to be punished for bad movement. They want to just get in there and do those fancy attacks without having to jump over them or have to jump properly. They don't want to be paced out. And as you'll see over time, except for probably NetherRealm Studios games, zoning in general has gotten much, much weaker because of the constant complaining about it and the desire for companies to make their games more casual friendly. In Overwatch, you can see this too, where people complain about characters, they immediately patch it. Now, in my opinion, I think that's a poor way to go because the game is still early, the meta is still developing. A lot of things that you see as cheap early on can sometimes be a lot. Things like Torb and Bastion aren't even that good. Who knows what happens with Widowmaker later once people learn their map. Because for me, she was never a problem. I mean, sometimes I got caught off guard, stuck when I was looking for a health pack. Sometimes I got wall hacks. And another thing was the ultimate. And a lot of the problem is the community bias not only for characters type, but certain characters, because a lot of things people complain about, even now about Widowmaker, they're saying she still needs more nerfed. Even though the game she just got nerfed a lot. Hanzo had a lot of things too. So I mean, how can character A, Widowmaker, have a wall hack as an ultimate? She gets, even a really good Widowmaker may get 4 a game. Hanzo has a 10-second cooldown wall hack. One arrow is a 10-second active window and a 20-second cooldown, but the cooldown starts when the window is active with the first arrow, so you really have a 10-second cooldown. You can spend half the game with wall hack. That's a significant advantage. Well, people are saying Widow's the most broken in the game, but what about pressing one button and killing everybody? How many games have been won since somebody pressed one button and just killed everything with the screen, and then it took over the point with a move that took not a lot of effort or time into use? But nobody cares about that. People complain about damage and easy kills, but how is it that some characters like Junkrat can just be picked and spammed on any map, on any stage, on any position without any type of thinking? The reason people don't complain about it as much, although of course there are going to always be some people complain about something, is because people prefer that playstyle. People prefer that crazy, wacky playstyle. My whole thing with nerfing and balancing is this. You got to look at Overwatch. It's not a highly technical simulated shooter. It's going to have a lot of crazy things in it, and I don't mind a lot of crazy. That you got to take it for what it is. Every character has crazy things. Every character. You have resurrecting abilities. You have medics. People say, well, Widow's not a conventional sniper. What about medics that have the health of frontliners that heal themselves without doing anything, without getting a health pack? You have characters who can skate along walls, supports that can push you off the side of the edge and give you a team a mobility boost. You have characters with instant shields that suck up a lot of damage. You have characters that have a one-hook attack that kills you and, by the way, goes through walls. Characters with crazy hitbox and arrows. Genji has a crazy reflect ability, and this game is just an over-the-top, fast-paced game, and I have no problem with that. Because, of course, there are things that can annoy me sometimes, but I didn't go cry to nerf it. But a lot of people they don't like one aspect of one character. They don't want to lose to a sniper, but they don't have a problem losing to a Junkrat. And that's another problem, is the community, and from what I've seen in terms of this community, is I have to say, when I was reading the Reddits and the Blizzard.com forums, and I know there's a lot of game community, I mean, it was just bad. I mean, a lot of people, every 10 minutes there's a Widowmaker topic. Lots of bashing, lots of insults. There's no constructive discussion going on. Anybody who disagreed and made an intelligent point was just downvoted into oblivion. Even the person said something that was true and it was counting another person's untrue statement. People didn't care. It reminds me a lot of the other games like Street Fighter. If you go to a lot of other websites, you see a lot of trolling and bashing. That's what I saw here. And I think for Blizzard to cater to those types of people, because they complained a lot, isn't really a good approach. A good approach for a game like this is just to wait a while and only hammer down things that are really, really overpowered. Like maybe McCree melting tank was a lot, so they toned that down. But in general, it's best to just wait a while. Or do like an incremental approach where you look at the entire cast over time and you balance and tweak a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Because what ends up happening when you tweak too much at once, if you take one character and hammer them down before the meta develops, then something else comes up. There's always that new sleeping giant that's waiting in Horizon that nobody expected. And you nerf one character, and then another character that was being kept in place by character A is now super strong. A lot of people are complaining about Genji and Tracer. As I said earlier, a lot of people complain about tank and healer combos. When you nerf Widowmaker with a body shot nerf, for instance, you make turrets harder to kill, bastions harder to kill, you make it harder to kill faster enemies, things like that. Now you may say, well, that's not a problem, we'll just do this, but once two characters have been toned down that deal with certain class types, those class types also become stronger. Once you give a character another buff, if you give D.Va another buff, that may also be a further nerf to Widowmaker. If you give a character another buff or a nerf, it changes the entire balance game. The entire balance of the game is something that's very delicate, and you don't want to just throw it all out of the water. You don't just go hammering down a character with significant nerfs that makes them play entirely different. It just ruins that play style just because some people complain about it because they know how to deal with it. Because a lot of times, you give the game some time, the complaints start to die down, people start to move on and learn how to deal with it. Another problem was probably the matchmaking issues. You had the issues of matchmaking. A lot of time, the game seems to want you at 50%, so a lot of time you might go on a win streak 5 times in a row, you're kicking butt, and then bam, all of a sudden you have a lot of much worse players in your team, and the other team has a lot of really good players. A bunch of players who aren't that good are playing against more experienced players, and they're getting frustrated. And the game system, I don't know how Rank is going to handle this, but the game system in terms of matchmaking was a lot more balanced. You might see people playing their own skill level where these things are an issue, because in all honesty, 99% of Widowmakers just couldn't aim for anything. Some of them catch with an occasional body shot, but they weren't that good. They sit back in the back and just snipe. There are only about 1% or so who were any good. So what they effectively did is not only made it harder to play at lower levels with the damage nerf and the ult nerf, which wasn't too big of a deal, but they also made it so the higher skill players couldn't reach that level of effectiveness of her when they practiced, which is what bothered me more. Because now people are saying, you know, a lot of people are saying Hanzo's probably going to be a better pick all around. That may be a good reason. And I'm surprised Hanzo doesn't get a lot of attention because people say he's terrible, and I don't agree. I mean, he has the same health as Widow. He has a crazy hitbox in his arrows. He can just aim pretty much anywhere. He can aim at your toe with scatter shot, do 450 damage or so, pretty much melt some tanks. He can hit you behind walls a lot. He has a wall hack constantly, climb up walls with no cooldown, no grapple hook, plus he has a screen clearing ultimate that he can wipe out an entire area with. On top of that, he has no need to reload, no need to aim and get tunnel vision. He doesn't have to scope in, so he's better up close in that mid-range. You have more of a risk of being hit by a random arrow when it comes to Hanzo than with Widowmaker. And those are a lot of advantages that Widow doesn't have. Now Widow's main advantage has more range, she gets the hit scan, she has a better damage on headshot.
Ja, det kan jag. Ja, då går det på Alex då. Du må ha en kvar. Går det på dig där? Ja, då måste vi gå. Du är värre en. Nej, jag tror en av dem. Jag är bättre än mig. Vi får ta. Så du är ihop. Ja, det vet vi. Ja. Har du bland? Ja, man får gå jävla dyrt. Ja, det där är jävla snitt. De trixar. Nej, det är klar. Ja, de har gjort det samma. De har samma straff. Det var en booster. Det brukar ju stämma. Nej. igen bro. Ja, number kill. No fuck. Oh my god. Der kom der ut. Nei, på. Det er kult. Oh shit. That was exactly.
Jeg må springe fort. Kom igjen sammen. Ja, vi må springe. Ut for meg. Alle sammen skift, la meg.
Skyt bakover.
Ok, du må få vekk til oppe. Ja, der kom. Nei da.
shit, but Raiden, come on. I like to figure this shit out by myself. Motherfucker, you're ugly as fuck. Look the other way. Okay, without further ado, let's do this shit. You gotta assemble your shit. That's the one. That's the one right there. Okay, I'm ready for battle. Let's go. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm fucking ready for it. I'm ready. Okay. Oh, bitch. Okay, that's my people. Okay, now it's not just done. I'm gonna try not to. Okay, here we go. That's all he got. You need to run. Okay. Wait, how did I just take that sword out? Okay, all I got is motherfucking ninja stars. The bus! Is there a bus driver in there? Hold up. Y'all know, yo, okay. Oh! Did I kill somebody? What? Get up here. Okay, I can't get all the way up here. This motherfucker got a big ass shield. I'm getting fucked up. Oh my god! That's like the big character I got fucked up. Damn, that's a bad motherfucker. That's what we about to do. Okay, I like it. Now we got a gun. Now we do it. Let me see what the other button. Kind of sick. Yeah. Oh, these motherfuckers is already here. No! No! What the fuck? You seem like a bad bitch. Let's go with you. What the fuck is that? Wait. Oh, that's okay. That just takes work like that. Okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but it's kind of fun, y'all. Not even gonna lie. Get that bitch. Fuck! Damn, he the one. That motherfucker was like straight up down. Okay, this is what he do. Woo! What the fuck was that? Was that like myself? Nah, bitch. Do that move. You saw yourself. Fuck! My boy, you next. Here we go, bitch. You look serious. We're all. Okay, what? Okay, what is that? Okay. I like that. Okay, this is what I needed. This right here is what it's not gonna make a difference, but I feel like I needed this. Okay, that's how you do it. You gotta hold this down. I've been fucking up, so that's alright. Oh shit! Watch out! Go after him. Hold on. Go after that bitch. Oh fuck! There go the back. I killed one. Okay, hold on. Then I killed another one. I think you said eliminate. Take that motherfucker right there. Oh fuck! Okay, baby. Oh, she cute. That you got a sense of humor? Okay, here we go. Oh, what the fuck is that? Okay, that's one of us. Bad guy right here. What is that? Okay, we fucking lost. Alright, baby, go time for round 2, baby. Run over here. Hold on. Hold on. Go. I'm about to fucking die. Go over here. What the fuck am I doing in slow mo? Fuck! Okay. She looks serious, and I like how she's showing a little bit of that. Okay, stop. Here we go.
One shot. One kill.
One kill? Oh, shit. Get bit. Okay, stop. What the fuck